Hi. Hi, Josh. I have your session now. Okay, here we go. So a couple things. One, love seeing this marker at the heads, like labeling where you were going to have that song start, and at the end, that's perfect. A lot of markers, but I liked having those. That's perfect. So for your bounce, like to see this editing. You did some editing, chopping up, getting rid of stuff that here that you didn't need, and cleaning that up at the end. Stuff like that was great. So it helps if there we go. I didn't like that count off at all, so I think that's great. You got rid of that and cleaned this up at the end. And so also this ending was pretty adventurous, and I played it like 10 times trying to figure out, does it work? Does it not work? I don't know. I think it's kind of all right. So what you could do to double check that at the very end. So what I like to do is make sure whenever I'm going out to nothing. So on the master fader, which for some reason is not at 0. So I don't know that will ruin your mix. You might have been listening loud, but I'm going to go ahead and we want to leave that master fader at 0. And then when we're done with that, we can go and make sure that we pull down to digital 0 for the ending. So something along that, and make sure. And you can see here it goes really quiet, right? So you might even want to do that after the fact, a little bit after, and back that ending up just a scooch. And you can see that goes down to 0. And that's where you want to end your bounce. So if you can, keep that master fader at 0. A couple different reasons. And short of the ending where we go to 0, we want to keep the bit depth as much as possible. And as you pull that down, you actually change the bit resolution of the session. Which during the ending, when you're fading, it's going to go to 0. The bit depth is going to go to 0. Nothing you can do about it. But during the song, you want it as high as possible. Okay, so let's tackle some other things. You had the expander here. You had a high pass filter, and a gate on the kick drum, trying to make sure you could get rid of some of the bleed of the song where there is, leakage, so to speak. There, the song's going. There we go. Okay. So the drums are kind of tucked back in this mix. So notice that only between the bigger hits is the gate getting cut off. So let's work on this a little bit. So let me turn this up so I can hear. So we need to move this up. Let's get where the music is. So let's start with, so there's a kick, gate. Okay. So notice that we get that cut off, and if we don't want to do that much isolation, we can bring up this range, and we'll get still some bleed. Now, you did the same thing with the snare. Now, what to me was interesting was that you put this gate on the overhead. So listen, I'm not sure what's going on with here, with why you would put a gate on the overheads. Right. Unless you didn't want the overheads to go the whole time. So that was kind of interesting. Also, you had some low pass, high pass filters, and that was all that you had on the overheads. So probably could EQ those a little bit more and definitely hit those with the compressor. I can see here that you tried to use the parallel compressor to bus 3 and 4. We use the output channels for that. So bus 3 and 4 down here. So we can pull this all the way down here. But what we've got is we don't want to go through the sends. I don't think. So what we want to do is bypass those and do through here. Now our drums, I'm going to hit Command S. So now our drums are going. Let's turn this gate off because There we go. And we need some reverb. You have a deverb, so let's see what happens if we send it to that. Bus 7 and 8. Let's Command S here, so. And let's see what this is set up. So it's a little louder. And then I think we can do, it's just a little muddy, so we're going to pull a little bit, just find a little bit of where that mud is. Hi, Holden. There, hold on. Let's find some mud here. There we go. Let's pull that out. There we go. And then see where that bass fits in. I thought this bass sound was good. And I would still actually a little bit more reverb I would like, but that's a much better, better approach to the drum sound. Whoa. Let's see here. So let's take this. So I did these. What else? Gates and overheads. Oh, so this guitar A, guitar B, this is a mono guitar track. So this is not a stereo guitar track. You have one pan left, one pan right, but it's the same guitar. I just used 2 mics on it and put them on different tracks. So that, you know, the high pass filter is great, but this is not a stereo guitar. So listen, it's mono. And how else would we know it's a mono guitar track? Well, let's see what happens when I pan them to the same side and flip the polarity. They're perfectly aligned mics on the same cabinet. So this is actually mono. So think about that. Also, you sent the vocals to the compressor the same way, so you already know that that's not the most efficient way to send that. Also, oh, you had this mix on this set at 75% here. When we're sending to the reverb, we want to turn that up to 100%, and generally our output to 100%, right? And then we use, now that, like, for instance, let's go back to our snare drum. If I want less reverb, it's done here. Right? Oh, I made you hear it so we can hear. There's our dry. There, let's hear that.
You were so close, never too far, always a reach away, deep in the moment.
So the idea of parallel compression is we got this nice clean one. Let's duplicate this track. And let's squash it. So instead of something light, let's grab, there's like the steamroller, right? So let's hear what this is. That's a little aggressive, but let's see what that sounds like.
You were so close, never too far, always a reach away, deep in the moment, lost in it all. We were the ones, never to fall. Don't.
So it's a little aggressive on the cymbals, so I would back those down a little bit.
You were so close, never too far, always a reach away.
We can hear how this is heavy. I don't like that.
Don't turn your back, never turn your back on me now. Don't turn your back, never turn your back on me now. It'll start, and not knowing when.
Okay, so I was fun with that a little bit. So I hope that helps clarify some of the things that you could do with this mix. So getting those drums and bass, bass, and guitar, and then carving out some vocals. Other things you can do, notice that you have here the piano, which is a pretty integral part of the melody. You inserted the reverb right on it with the mix at 100% instead of sending it to the track. So what you'd want to do, scoot this over here, pick a bus, we'll pick an empty bus. 9 and 10, and then use this combination to make this sound. And this needs a compressor on it because it does. She's kind of all over the place with the limit. And then during the vocals, you could automate that. So let's back this up a little bit so that the piano.
You were so close, never too far, always a reach away. Deep in the moment, lost in it all.
So we like that level. So then what we want to do is go over to the piano track and maybe just rectify that. Put this back to touch, read. Oh, your automation's not set up. And should be, says volume. Did I not?
You were so close, never too far, always a reach away.
So a little too far down, so then I don't like that. So do the.
You were so close, never too far, always a reach away. Deep in the
So something like that, I like that better. So let's fix that. And I'll just delete in between what I don't like. Something along those lines. So now I got the piano ducked out of the way of the vocals.